sneak in there, Ofsky, so I'm going to go ahead and add you to the attendance list as well. On our lag metric side, so we had $35 in transaction volume last week, so not a great week. Coming off of the previous one, which was much nicer, at something like almost 1,000. So yeah, we are up and down with our transaction volume. Getting more users should help us smooth that out a little bit. And as well, you might notice that I changed a little bit our lead metrics, kind of like move them down into just things that will move the needle on the lag metrics. So last week we had 4 transacting users. So these are users who actually made a transaction. In the past, I've included people who created a card in this, but now I have metrics, at least in the raw SQL sense, that I can actually give us the right number. 1 new user, and 6 communities deployed. So last week we deployed the nouns card. So before we had a nouns card that allowed you to earn nogs rather, and now we also have a nouns card which allows you to earn nouns. And both of those cards come with a physical card as well, which is kind of unique. Nouns is the only community that has a physical card for us and a completely customized card. So that is the additional community there. On the team-wide announcements, one piece of great news is that we got into the Octant Accelerator, which runs from September 26th to October 24th. So tomorrow there is an hour and a half. I guess, like, what do you call that when you come? Orientation, something like that. Introduction. I'm not sure. It starts at 9 Eastern and it goes for an hour and a half, which means that I'm not going to be able to make it to the Ops Weekly. Hopefully this isn't a weekly thing, that it's going to be in an hour and a half session on Thursday. But if it is, then we can move the Ops. We can move the Ops meet. So I think that should be okay. Other than that, this accelerator, for those that don't know, a lot of accelerators come with cash. This one does not come with cash. The nice thing about it, well, there's 2 nice things really. One is that it's focused on growth. And I think growth is really at the stage that we're at now. You know, we have 100 users. Only 30% of those users ended up actually funding the card. Only 30% of those users ended up using the card on like a monthly basis. And so that's something that, like, looking at that funnel, how do we optimize? Well, that's all related to growth. And so this is a really good opportunity to kind of just dig down, and it comes at a really good time, as that's kind of what we're trying to do right now. So that is what we'll be doing for the next month, is kind of focusing on growth. There's a great bunch of speakers, including some people who have who are part of some great crypto projects in the public goods system, in the public goods ecosystem, I should say. And another thing is that Octant is one of the few groups that is very similar to us in that they're very concerned with sustainability right now. So if you don't know who Octant is, we can get into it a little bit deeper later. But essentially, they have a sustainable means to fund public goods. They are they have staked 100,000 ETH, and they're using the yield from that ETH to fund public goods projects and pay for their own foundation. And so they're kind of like similar to BCard in a lot of ways. And hopefully in the future, when BCard is a fully functioning foundation, if we figure out our revenue model, we could be a lot like Octant. We could, and so I think it's really good for us to be around those types of group, those types of people who care about that kind of thing, especially in this space where there's like a ton of people who are, just straight out grifters, or all they care about is number go up. It's really good for us to be around builders who, are building some things that are similar to us and have the same kinds of values as us. And so that's the 2 reasons I think it's a really good accelerator for us. And yeah, we'll be working on that. So that's a pretty big piece of news for us. Another thing is, you may have noticed that I tweaked the meeting notes and metrics a little, really trying to simplify as much as I can. We're only looking at 3 metrics. Everything else, the 3 metrics that will push transaction volume. So weekly transacting users is the most, is the closest to transaction volume. And as we get new users, that will create more weekly transacting users, which will create more transaction volumes. And as we create more communities, we will get more users, which will allow us to have more weekly transacting users, which will increase our transaction volume. So the intent is really for us to kind of focus up on these specific things. Because if we solve this transaction volume thing, if we solve for our weekly transacting users, if we solve for new users, if we solve for communities deployed, we're going to be in really good shape. And again, I had mentioned that our funnel is a little bit leaky. We have 30% and 30%. That ends up at something like 90%, right? Like of users that end up leaving our funnel. So if we're able to optimize this, if we're able to fix our funnel, if we're able to actually make this work, that 11,000 users that we need, all it takes is one really good opportunity for us to get there, and then we're going to end up having a nice set of users that we can use to kind of bootstrap the rest of what we're doing. But it's going to take work, of course, and it's going to take luck as well. And so that's what we're aiming to create. And then finally, from now on, we're going to use the proposals and bounties channel in our own server for bounties. So we had been using the kind of BCard governance in the BCard server, in the BDAO server in the past. I finally took the last bits of stuff off of there this week, including anything from Bounty Board. I put it into our accounting doc. So we don't actually need to be on BDAO server at all anymore. And so I encourage any member to, if you do anything, go ahead and throw a proposal into the proposals and bounties. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. You can really just say like, I did this, and here's the thing that I did. I would like to be compensated. That's it. You can just link to a thing that you did. Really, let's reduce our scope on this, and we'll just do as good as we can. So yeah, appreciate that. Any question on the team-wide announcements? I said a lot there, so I'm just wondering if there's anything that anyone had questions about or comments on. Okay, cool. Moving down.
Thanks for doing all the legwork, moving the stuff.
Yeah, no problem. Moving the stuff from the BCard server.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I would say that Blue Bear did a lot of the heavy lifting on that. Like he created this server for us in a time before we needed it, and then when we needed it, we could just move right in. And he did a really good job. So I would really defer to Blue Bear on this. I kind of like took it across the finish line, but it was really a lot of his work that got us here.
Kudos redirected.
All right, so on the milestones, okay, so I'll talk about these milestones as well. So I put a little bit of goals in these milestones. And so the things that I think I've said this to people in the past, the things that will get us to 10 weekly transacting users is different than the things that will get us to 100 transacting users, which will be different than the things that will get us to 1,000 weekly transacting users. And so just to partly to remind myself and also to remind other people here, we got to get to 10 before we can get to 100, right? And so this is why I'm putting it up here. This is why I changed the meeting notes to kind of update our goals here. So we have 10 weekly transacting users. This is what we're aiming for right now. We have 10 new users per week. Sorry, go ahead.
No, just I received a call, so I had to restart my microphone.
Okay, no problem. We have 10 new users per week, and we have 10 high-quality communities, okay? And so this is what we're aiming to do, is 10, 10, 10, and then once we get to 10, we can figure out what it's going to take for us to get to 100. And then once we get to 100, or maybe not even 100, maybe we'll say, like, once we get to 10, we'll figure out what it's going to take to get us to 50 or something like that, depending on what we're doing, right? Because getting communities is a bit harder than getting users, is a bit harder than getting transacting users. We'll see. But ultimately, I just wanted to focus us up on these problems, how we're going to get 10. And these things that we do, they're going to be different than what we're going to be able to do, but let's do these things right now, the things that don't scale. So for instance, on the 10 weekly transacting users, we did a production release where we launched the nouns card, did some updates to our API as well. And yeah, so that's what we did on a production release last week. On the user analytics side, we have a script ready to go for our user tests. I contacted 30 users, and one lesson for everyone. For the first time I did it, I sent it through support, and I made everyone a BCC. And that didn't get any responses. So instead, I individually emailed them from my email list, links@getbcard.io, and that got me a lot more responses from people. So we have one user booked for today, one user booked for Friday, and that's our Christy. Thank you for signing up for Friday. And we need to get at least 4 more. And so I have at least 8 in my email inbox right now that I'm speaking with, and hopefully I'll be able to get them locked in for a user test. At least 2 others have said, "Yeah, I'll do a user test," but we haven't booked a time yet, so we shall see. And then finally, on the user analytics side, no progress on this. What I really want to do is incorporate it into the dashboard. And also, our Christy mentioned something. We planned on creating our own BCard community that users can select. So essentially, they will be getting double BCard for their efforts or for their transactions. And our Christy brought up a great point that, this is going to kind of mess up our transaction metrics that we use on a monthly basis. You're absolutely right, Arkisti. I think what I'll do is I'll split it up into 2 different transactions. One for just transactions, which you can use to see like what are the actual transactions, and one for rewards, which I can use to do the rewards, list. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that kind of makes sense. Yeah, I was sort of thinking about like doing the adding up this way, subtracting out that way kind of approach, but that's sort of messy. But
yeah, so the analytics I wrote for the user analytics, there is like a SQL query that I have now that will get us kind of a similar output to what you have. I just need to tweak it a little so that it is a little bit similar to what we have, and then I'll remove the kind of, because like the issue with the rewards and the transactions is that because users are getting multiple rewards, they're getting BCard and other transaction and other rewards. We actually have duplicated transactions in there. And so I will just get a list of non-duplicate transactions, and then the rewards may have duplicate transactions, and that's fine.
Yeah, and I guess, well, I mean, if you can separate out the extracts, because it's kind of nice to have access to the some of the raw data from the dashboard to play around with. But
I will separate them out, and it will be as raw as it can be.
Okay.
Awesome. So I'll try to do that this week, so that we have it in place before we launch a new BCard community. And so when I say getting us to 10 weekly transacting users, this thing that I'm doing with users, emailing individual users and just like talking to them, that's really the kinds of things that don't scale, that it's fine to do when we are getting to 10 weekly transacting users. Okay, so in terms of new users per week, Reynes, how I know that you didn't see this before. Before it was we have a content funnel, but now that we're trying to get 10 users a week, I feel like your content funnel is related to this. But yes, can you tell us some updates on this front?
Well, first of all, the new goal is very nice, because before setting up a content funnel, it was like an arbitrary structure that we're trying to build with the content generation, distribution, everything. Now having just to get 10 users per week is a very much more simpler approach, and it has already turned my wheels in a different direction to how to achieve this. So I love the reformatting, at least for me and coffee. And 10 users a week, it's like that's reachable, very reachable. Maybe not every week, but it's a very, very good goal to strive for. Okay, but yes, in terms of what's been going on. So last week I was not able to very much participate in BCard activities because of my setting up in the new workplace. But anyway, me and Andy created a sort of idea list for videos he'll be making, because we're missing some videos from Andy, and so we created a little list. just so because his time zone is so different in Taiwan, we figured let's just create a couple of list of videos that he can just make on his own, and he doesn't have to worry about the time zones and everything without that one video by week. Before that was previously set up, because we have the new communities, we have a new approach, and everything. Well, I'm gonna introduce this new approach to him as well, probably tomorrow at the comp call. But yes, about the videos, he is putting something together that he has filmed, but he said he doesn't have a clear direction. But we figured out with the list. Yeah,
So,
that's that. Also,
go ahead.
we have Bobo has coded the website. Only like font is left to change and making it dynamic. It's not really dynamic at this point. The website flow, but the design has been put into code. Is a huge progress for us and in this area.
Sweet. One thing I wanted to mention as well is that since the Octant accelerator is really based around growth, there may be some more clear direction coming in the next month. And so they kind of asked, they kind of asked for like 30 hours a week from whoever is going to be participating. So I said, I'll do 30 hours a week. And then the rest of our team will kind of like pitch in when they can. And they were like, okay. So I'll be doing 30 hours a week. And what that means is that there may be some things where we need to do a quick turnaround. And if it's okay, like I'll do it if you're not able. But if you are able, there'll be opportunities to do like kind of like quick little executions, I'm sure.
Yeah, we'll see. I have the new job, but it's only like few days per week. I am occupied, and the rest of the time I still have to myself, so I'll be able to, I think.
Sweet. Yeah, like ultimately I'll just be communicating in this Discord, and we'll see what we could do. Hopefully there'll be some more opportunities for some execution, especially like Andy's saying he needs a little bit of direction. I think like that will happen this week. This month.
Nice. Coffee join. Hey, Coffee, do you have anything to add to our? By the way, we have a new goal, as you see, and
yeah. So the new goal. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. I was just gonna say what. Sorry, I'm just catching up and trying to drink my coffee. Hey, Reynez.
Hey. Yeah. So Coffee Crusher, just to give you a quick update on this, we changed the metrics a little bit, the lead metrics. So we're aiming for weekly transacting users, new users, and communities deployed. So very similar. But the bigger change was on the milestones. It's going to take different things for us to get to 10 users, as it takes for us to get to 100 users, then it takes for us to get to 1,000 users. So just concentrating on that like first number, 10. So right now we are trying to get to 10 weekly transacting users, me and Tom, and you and Reynez are trying to get to 10 users a week, and I'm trying to create 10 high quality communities. And then after that, we can kind of like, bump it up and talk about like, okay, after we get to 10, what's it going to take to get us some more? But first, let's get to 10. Does that make sense?
Yeah, as long as I don't have to build 10 apps.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I like it's like breaking it down into smaller pieces. I like it.
Yeah. 10 apps with one user each. They're all me. All right. Yeah. So any updates that you want to add, Coffee Crusher? I think that last week we released the nouns card, which I think was something that you had been interested in communicating as well. So it's out there now.
Yeah, and I remember, because you announced it on the CC, on the BDAO CC. No other updates for me. I've just been really busy with other things, unfortunately. So.
Yeah, fair enough. On the the conversion side, I announced them on Farcaster. The conversions on higher community was like 3, and the conversions on the new nouns card was 1. And so just launching a new community is not going to be enough for us to get to that 10 a week. especially because we are not going to have a new community launch every week. Yeah, just FYI, and when you're looking at how to get to 10 users a week, it's going to take something else other than launching a new community. Although launching new communities, I think, will give you guys more options.
Yeah, agreed. Well, I'll have to. I mean, I need to hook up with Rainus, and we'll have a chat about it to sort of strategy.
Cool. So in terms of getting 10 high quality communities, we got the nouns card out, which is good. Open Medicine Foundation has stated that they want to move ahead with a card. The thing with Open Medicine Foundation is that they want to move ahead for a card, and I think that they basically want us to communicate about them to our crypto audience, but they don't want to open their audience up to getting a B card. So that's fine. I understand where they're coming from, but this is another point against our go-to market, which is really kind of like, hey, we'll create this for communities, and communities will then like market this themselves. So it's starting to feel like that's not a legit go-to market strategy based upon all of the different communities that we've worked with so far. We have 6 communities on. None of them really went full bore in marketing it. So we're gonna have to figure out some other way to do this. But just want to share that. Another thing that was interesting with the Open Medicine Foundation is that they had worked with a group to get donations from crypto. And I'm wondering if basically any group that is accepting crypto for donations, they might be interested in getting BCard as well, using BCard for their audience. And they might be a good group to go with. If they're accepting donations, it means that they are, it means that probably they're doing some sort of public good or not-for-profit. Anyways, just something that I was thinking about as I was working with Open Medicine Foundation. So what I'll probably do is do a little research and see if I can find more of these groups that are kind of crypto curious and that they're getting donations from crypto sources, and they're interested in crypto audiences. Positioning BCard as a potential use for them might be good, and it might help us get more of these high quality communities. And then finally, hopefully we're going to, sorry, go ahead, Coffee Crusher.
I was just going to ask, so when you were in the conversations you were having with them, when they were not, I want to say willing, but were not interested in promoting it, have we ever asked why?
Yeah, so I mean, they gave a non-answer, I would say, to this. They said that a lot of their members are like low income, like their patients are low income, and therefore it would be difficult for them to for them to like the messaging of a debit card would not be great. I think it's probably, I think a lot of these not-for-profits, that is probably not the real answer. They probably just didn't want to necessarily tell us the real answer. I suspect. I don't think that's like, I just don't necessarily believe the answer. I think that a more plausible answer is that a lot of these groups are the people who are donating to them, that donation group list, they don't necessarily want to share that list, right? Because if they're spending money on something else, then they're not able to donate as much necessarily, right? And like donations are really like existential for some of these groups. Ultimately, I think we're gonna have to like create a deeper relationship with them before they would be comfortable doing that. I do think it's possible, right? Like if we show that we're valuable and interesting and there's something there that will help them get more donations, then I think that they would do that, but we're just not there yet, right? Like the product as it is isn't quite. I understand why they would do that.
Yeah, you hit it. I run a nonprofit in my IRL. That's exactly what it is. It's protecting their donor list, because donations, like all nonprofits, wherever you are like they're really struggling, right? Unless they're really massive organizations like American Red Cross. So they're really struggling, and so they're very protective of who their donors are, because it's their budgets are probably small, and they're really making it's really hard for them to earn this money. So I think if we can find a way to show that it will help them earn more money and attract new donors, then that will be attractive to those types of people 100%.
Exactly. And so that's why they would like they look at us as a way to get to that crypto audience, right? And that's new potential donors for them. So I think that that's
Yeah.
why they're interested in us. And so that's fine, right? Like it would be nice if they were more open about it, right? But like they're a traditional organization. Second, I didn't know that you ran a not for profit coffee
Yeah.
culture. How come your organization's not on BCard?
Well, it's interesting you say that. So, and I'm probably a lot like this little organization that you're talking about, and my community that donates doesn't even consider crypto. Like they think it's a Sam, Bankman scam, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
if you mention the word crypto, it's like, oh my God, that's like such a scam. So they're very, they'll send checks. Like I know people still write checks. So they'll send checks for donations. I have a problem with them donating PayPal, right? Using PayPal to donate on a donation page. So it's I guess it's I don't want to say it's the type of community. It's just it's where the mindset is and where I live, and it's a small area, so it's it feels like it's a couple decades behind larger cities. So
I mean, so that's I think like if BCard never said crypto in any of our in our product itself, and we really avoid it, right? Like
right,
we
right.
just say, we call them rewards, we call them communities. We really try to avoid using like crypto specific terms. So all this to say that while I know the BCard app isn't quite there yet, I do think that there's a path for us to get to the place where not for profits can use it. But yeah, we still need to figure that out. So maybe it's worth having a discussion in the future about this coffee crusher.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, because I think there is a path. There is a way to, because if my nonprofit that I run and other nonprofits, if there was a way to tap into a new resource of donors, that is very attractive, right? And they perceive crypto donors as wealthy, right?
Yeah,
Um,
and they typically
so
are in North America, right?
right. So that is something, yeah, I would like, we should have a chat more about this, but if we can remove the word crypto and talk about it as how it's another audience, that might be something that's attractive.
All right, and finally, we will hopefully release a BCard community as well for users to support us directly. And we already talked about how there may be some issues with our analytics on this, but don't worry, we'll take care of those before we release it. Looking into our all team projects, we have this Open Medicine Foundation community. I'm going to go ahead and move this into, well, first I'm going to assign it to myself. We are kind of blocked on them. We're waiting for a couple things from them. So I'll put it into blocked and I will poke them today to ask for that. As for the Octant Accelerator, let me just duplicate this. All right. As for the Octant Accelerator, so that starts tomorrow, but yeah, that we're in. So that's good. We can count this as completed and done. I will mark it as complete. As for these milestones, again, I need to update them based upon our what we just talked about. I kind of want to take a couple minutes to do that. I don't just want to close these because they have a bunch of subtasks and stuff. But actually, this one's probably fine. Anyways, this one I can just say 10. We can go from there. But anyways, these milestones and goals, we actually don't use them on Asana that much. So I'm wondering if we actually need them here because we talk about them in our meeting minutes. And so what I'm going to do instead is I'll probably just remove these from the all team projects and leave them in our ops weekly. And I'll delete this section. Okay, there we go. All right, so we have our inbox and block rating needs feedback. All right, and so we have our roll salaries, week 39. Okay, and so yes, I did spend 10 hours myself on this. Reynes, did you spend 5 hours on BCard last week?
Yes. Yes.
Tom, did you spend 5 hours on BCard last week?
Yes, I did.
Right. And Coffee Crusher, did you spend 10 hours on BCard, 5 hours on BCard last week?
No.
Okay. And Anna Thinker, did you?
No, I didn't.
And so I'll leave these in here. And yeah, actually I can, they're in the accounting inbox now. So I can just get them away from this all team project so we can get them out of our mind space. All right. Okay, great. So Open Medicine Foundation, we already talked about the Sunny Awards. I don't know what's going on with this. The website is kind of like empty. They haven't really been discussing it too much on Twitter or things, so we'll see. The Dow Spring Grants, I went to it and they kind of said like no one was there, and so they kind of said that they postponed it to October. We'll see, but we shall see on this front. And getting into our this week section, user interviews, I would say, are pretty important. So we are talking to users. I'm trying to get our users booked. We have 2 of the 6 that we want. The script is kind of completed now, so we'll close that off. I'm going to try to schedule time over there. Then we're going to run, analyze, and share with the team. This set of user interviews is really based upon people who started using BCard and stopped for some reason. The next group of users I'm going to talk to are people who signed up for BCard, but they didn't. But after that, they didn't actually load any money onto it. And so I suspect a lot of these people probably will be served by our newer stuff. As we get new users, we may be able to say that we closed this gap in our funnel, but for right now, we don't actually know. And then the next group, well, we'll probably start talking to talking to like crypto curious communities, not for profits, that kind of thing. And so that's kind of our thing here. So that's for user interviews, user analytics. So I need to figure out those who signed up for our card but didn't use it, and I need to add all of this stuff to the dashboard. So I'm hoping to get this done. Well, hopefully today or tomorrow. Tomorrow's pretty busy, but hopefully by the end of the week, this stuff's on the dashboard, including our Kusti. Well, I'll just add that in here too. Update the transactions SQL query so that we have individual transactions and rewards in separate outputs. Okay. So I'll do that as well, hopefully by the end of this week, Arkusti. And then we'll have to make sure that we can still use those. I'll try to, basically to make it the most usable, Arkusti, I'll try to completely copy the format that exists already, but the transactions won't be doubled and you won't see a reward token. Does that make sense, Arkusti?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So there'll be two buttons that you can push. One will be for rewards, one will be for transactions, and the transactions will be unique, and the rewards will be just based upon, like, the rewards will be basically what is showing right now.
Okay.
All right. Partnership pitch deck. How's this going, Reynes?
Struggling a bit, but I'm working on it.
Okay. What are you struggling with?
Information. What information should be included and what shouldn't be included. So, and to how much detail that information should be included. That's what I'm struggling with.
Okay. One thing that you can look at is something that Anna Thinker made in here. I updated it semi-recently with the newest numbers. So should be small. Like, okay, I'll put useful documents here.
Right.
Useful doc. So POC pitch deck. And as well, there was some notes in the OMF BCard meet that you can see here, the kind of about BCard section and the answer section. About BCard and answers sections. Okay, cool. So I'll leave those there for you. Hopefully they give you most of the information you need. Like this, let me just, like this one here, this pitch deck here, it's more than 5 pages, but it's still only 9 pages, and like, one of them is a thing. So like, it's really just, you can see like it probably has most of the things that you have here that you need. Okay, so like it includes the community card and branded card, right? Like it includes a lot of it includes a lot of the information you'll need. Does that make sense?
Yep, thank you very much. I'm already using this as the base, and I'm adding some things to it, and so that are not
Cool.
mentioned there.
Awesome. Okay, great. Moving down, rewards and payroll. How's this going, Christy? You're muted. I don't know if you know that. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I've got the thing popped out, so the mic thing doesn't really respond as well. Yeah. Well. So I'm I guess looking at the accounting right now. I mean, I think there's some stuff on the later part of it as far as like the creating the multi-sig transaction and stuff that I kind of need to investigate.
Okay, yeah. I mean, so this is probably a 10-minute conversation for you and I to have.
Yeah.
But yeah, like don't run in circles for an hour when you and I can take some time and do it in like 10 minutes, right? Just try to book some time with me if you need that. But I did look at the accounting sheet yesterday, and I didn't see the task from Asana in there yet.
Yeah.
Right? Like you haven't done this part yet, right?
No.
Okay. So do this part first, and that will lead us to this one and this one.
Okay.
Awesome. Thanks, Christy. All right. Why BCard one pager? So I started this, rather Crypto Dad and I started working on it together. I guess like, you know what? Let's discuss it a little bit in the discussion section. Ultimately, I realized that we need to kind of like I'm looking at multiple audiences with this, and maybe that's why I was confusing Crypto Dad a little. But anyways, Crypto Dad's going to be working on a competitive analysis, so looking at our competitive overview. One of the things that I really want to call out. Okay, so we're very much in the depths of the bear of crypto here, right? And so there's not a ton of DAOs that have like a really activated and pumped user base. We can still add new crypto communities, but one of the things that we were saying is that like, okay, in terms of like the yields and different, like the money making ability for us on the crypto side, it's not as interesting as like, selling NFTs or anything like that. But one thing that we are very competitive in is the affinity card market. So right now we're already offering similar rates to what others offer in the affinity card market. If we look at those as our competitors, then who are we going to be going after? Well, it's going to be these kind of crypto curious communities. Now, I think we're going to need more than what we're doing to actually be like a slam dunk for a lot of these groups, because again, ultimately, we're generating for every $1,000, we're generating $1, right? And so it's not a lot, but I think that if we start adding some other things to this, really related to these not-for-profits, I think we can do something interesting. And so that's why I just wanted to note that that's what we're going to be doing in our competitive analysis. We're not going to be comparing ourselves to like a crypto.com card or anything like that, because as soon as you say crypto card, people think it's to spend crypto, and that's not really our strength. And so we're really looking at we have something out there right now. It is competitive in some markets. What can we do that is gonna take us to the next level? I have some ideas, but anyways, we shall see. Conversational podcast ad. Drost isn't here. He's actually on vacation right now. I'm just gonna leave this where it is for now. In terms of pool together, the thing that we're missing here is kind of a launch. Did we do a launch announcement with pool together yet? I don't think we did, right? Like basically an email.
No,
And,
not.
and a
Oh,
video?
I thought. No, we did do the email. We did the subscriber email on Pool Together. We've got the video that went out at the same time,
We did.
and
Okay.
it was also put out on the socials. Yeah, it was the one. The video that was published was the one of Andy. You know, like I call the live video. The animated video I have not published, but that we can push anytime. But yeah, we did do an announcement to our community, to our subscriber list.
Okay. So the last one I see is on September 4th, and it's Origin Protocol, and it's the Andy one.
You know what? You're right. I'm confusing. Yes, so we have not. Just disregard everything I just said.
Okay.
Oh my God.
So,
Okay, so that's what I need to work on. Oh my God.
okay. Can I assign this to you then, Coffee Crusher? Are you going to be putting these
Yeah.
assets together? Okay, great.
Yes.
Okay. So that's the last thing on Pool Together. And again, we do want to do deeper kind of we do want to do deeper things, but let's get like these launch things out. Like including the launch videos and stuff. Hire, same thing. The last thing we have left to do is actually, yeah. So you just tested this, Tom, if I'm not mistaken. Like you enabled the claim functionality. So from a product perspective, Hire is out and done. Done. Is that correct, Tom?
Yeah, it's good to go. We just need to push the final code to production to make it fully claimable, but nobody will have claimable tokens until end of the month, so I figure we got a couple of days.
Okay, so let me just put this into push to production then, to deploy to prod, just so that we're not losing it. Yeah, and so Hire, let's do a launch video for them too. And again, let's do Pool Together first. There's no stress on these things, but I think it's good for us to have them on our list. Make sense?
Yes, it does. Just writing myself
Cool.
a note.
All right. Update the strategy document. So that's what we're working on with this one pager and the competitive analysis. So I would say that that's included. Update the website. You kind of mentioned already, Rainus, that we're just waiting for, at this point, just waiting for updates to the font and to change some of the dynamic sizing. And then we can push to production. Is that correct, Rainus?
Yes.
Cool. All right, and video content. We talked about that. There is a list of ideas to be made, and then we can go from there. Some more direction from Octant Accelerator. Okay, cool. All right. So everything else on the next gen list, tree gen, rewards based on user tests, Origin. Actually, Origin, I feel like we can, like we did the launch campaign already, right?
Yes, the Origin one
Yeah.
we've done.
Okay, yeah. So let's put this. Is there anything to? I mean, you did this as part of your campaign lead, right? So I can just close it. There's no other people to compensate.
No, but I need to put, what I need to add to that is I need to put compensation for March for that video.
Okay, I think I put one in the accounting. Let's see. Let's just double check here.
Do you have an accounting one? Because there's 3 videos or 3 email that he has published that I
So
need
there's
to
one
make sure he gets
for
paid for.
August 2024. Is there another one for September 2024?
So there should be one for. I don't think I've added any of them. I know there's 3 that he's done in the past that he has not
Okay.
been compensated for.
Okay. I will put something here, and I'll assign it to you. Compensate March for writing emails. I'll put coffee culture here. March did the following emails. There were 3 coffee culture. Please add dates. And I think that we have like an open thing to just pay March. I think we actually have we don't need to. I don't think we need to create a proposal or anything. I think we already have a proposal for March for this. Let me just double check though.
Yes, we do.
Yeah,
I was
I'm
just
pretty
gonna-
sure we do.
So you're saying if I just add the dates to that, then
Yeah,
and
email writing
tag,
proposal. Yeah. So
and then
according to
tag
this,
you. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, according to this, we have 24,000 bank that we have allocated for this that we haven't given out yet.
Okay, so I just need to add the dates and then tag you, and then that'll it's like like our old process where I had to create a proposal. So
Exactly. So you don't
Got
have to
it,
create a
okay.
proposal. You already created one on the BDAO server. And I updated this 7,500. Oop. 70. There we go.
all right, I'll get
So
that taken
it's
care of.
already there.
Okay,
Cool.
cool.
Thanks a lot, Coffee Crusher. All right, back to the all team projects. I think that so the origin. I'm going to mark this as complete then, right? Because you have that other task.
Yes.
And nouns, I'm going to mark this as complete as well because we did this already as well, right? We're not going to do these other things. I'm just going to close
Yes.
this for now, and we'll figure out
Close
another
it.
way to do this stuff later.
Yep.
All right, done. Okay, done. Oop, where'd it go? Done and done. Oh, done. Anyways, mark complete. Yep. Okay. Cool. Other than that, I don't think there's much here. Okay, great. Let's get back to the meeting notes. And we went through our task perspective. Oh, we only have 10 minutes left. Darn it. Anyways, we got the last bounty board bounties into our accounting sheet for compensation. From now on, we're only using proposals and bounties. Zudi Bear and myself produced a script for user interviews. I applied for Orange DAO and got a referral. And so we also booked 2 interviews. So that's good. We will have this week. The first one being today. CryptoDad and I started a strategy 1-pager. I prepped a DAO Spring Meet, but it didn't end up happening. Tom shipped some improvements to the claim flow process and backend processing for claims distribution. Tom validated the higher token implementation and newly abstracted Cloud against rewards. Tom prepared staging builds for app client and transaction API servers with new code to handle execution abstraction from community data objects to prepare for new token claimability at end of month. Nice. All right, on the discussion items, we have the strategy 1-pager and the role compensation. And then I guess as thinker, we also kind of said we might discuss whether or not you wanted to attend the Octant accelerator this week. Did you want to discuss that? Because it's starting tomorrow at 9 a.m. So I'm not sure if you want to.
Yeah, so I do have time to be able to join that tomorrow. I don't have a lot of time to be able to put into it. But I mean, I could definitely go. I'd be interested in joining tomorrow and seeing what it was all about.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's up to you. Again, I know that you have other concerns as well. As far as Octant is concerned, I'm the one who's going to be putting in the 30 hours a week. So it's up to you.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'll jump in there tomorrow and just hop in and see what it's all about.
Cool. Just putting it on my list to add you to the list. Okay, great. And now the fire alarm is going off for some reason. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but it seems like it's a test of the fire alarm system in my building. How annoying. Anyways, for the strategy 1-pager, basically I realized as we were going through it that we need to adjust our pitch based on our audience. And I think I was conflating this a little bit. I think like one of the things around the strategy one pager is that I wanted to get out of it is to get people to kind of believe in what we're doing. We haven't really been talking about what we're trying to achieve. And then we started talking about like, oh, okay, what can we achieve and what's going to get people going. And we talked about it in the past, and some people were like, oh, this idea of this bankless message is really interesting to people in the crypto space. And so I guess I just wanted some feedback, like what is getting you excited about BCard? You know, why are you here? Because I think that might have something to do, like that might be. Sorry, I'm a little bit distracted by this fire alarm going on behind me. But yes, let's open up the floor. Why are you excited, BCard? Why are you here? Would love if anyone was able to jump in. I'm going to turn off my microphone so we don't hear this alarm.
Here, I'll jump in because I don't have a fire alarm going on. If there's a way to figure out how to include nonprofits and build an audience or bridge an audience for them with, earning crypto donations, that is exciting for me.
Yeah. Oh, so the alarm went off. Do I have to call on people individually?
That's okay. I got one. I like to be here because I like to make interesting things and make them work. So starting from nothing, it's been super cool to be able to build up, a lot of working processes and technical, back ends that I've had the opportunity to, build before, but having it integrated all in a big system and managing it like that is a fun and interesting challenge for me. And I like working on it and making it better all the time, piece by piece.
Nice. Thanks, Tom. All right, Arkisti, how about you?
I guess providing a method of helping communities by redirecting some of the interchange to the communities. And I think like the tech and the crypto, while we don't have to mention it, it probably gives us some new flexibility in figuring out ways to help those communities. We just need to figure out what helps push the gas pedal, I guess you would say, on the growth. And I think I still believe there's something out there that's going to work. So.
All right, thanks, Arkisti. How about you, Anna Thinker?
I think what you mentioned earlier about the bankless messaging is something that resonates with me and a lot of other people. And even though I know that's not necessarily our mission now or necessarily mission aligned with what we're trying to do, we're still trying to help. We're trying to help communities fund themselves in ways that wouldn't otherwise be possible. And I think the change that could come in the future, once regulations have settled down and we have more of a clear understanding of what we can actually do without being subject to crazy rules and regulations that may not have been clear to us otherwise, I think we'll be able to make some big changes in the world. Self-sovereignty, digital ownership. That's why I'm here.
Yeah, I think like that bankless message really resonates with me too. I think like when I was saying we need different messages for different audiences, I think like for the crypto audience, that is a really good drum to beat. I don't think we should be. I think like this idea of a bank that actually works for you rather than kind of like against you. It almost feels like we have an adversarial relationship with banks right now. But instead, if we were like partners, we could do so much more. It's something like related to what I posted in. Where did I post it? I think I posted in the team chat, right? Like there was kind of like this one pager, which is like really around banks. And so like this was kind of like the what is the problem. Anyways, check it out if you haven't seen it yet. Reynes, what about you?
Well, I have two reasons. Reason number one is that over the past 2 years, I have learned very much by being here. Just by being here, I've had the ability to do many tasks that I probably wouldn't even get my hands on in a work experience here locally in Latvia. So the what that's probably also what keeps me here is the chance to work on many different things and solve many different problems that are sometimes new to me, but with finding a way to resolve them, I learn a huge deal for myself and for my skills. Also, this is not the second reason, but a side point. The people here are amazing, and this team has been for a very long time, and I just love it. I love working with every one of you. That's a little one, but it's a huge one at the same time. Reason, but and the final reason what I'm excited about and what keeps me here is the imagined end result of the product, a community self-funding tool. It's like a problem solver for many communities. Even the music community that we're building in Latvia would hugely benefit with a tool like this. So yeah, that's the final goal. The end product is something that I see needed and very useful in this world. Yes, indeed. Thank you.
Cool. Thanks, Reynes. Winverse, Ovsky, Coffee Crusher.
I already spoke, but I love what Brandon
Yeah.
said.
Okay. Yep. Winverse, Ovsky. Not much coming from there. We're at the end of our time, anyways. So I just want to say that, like, yeah, I think like as I said before, we have to like kind of say different things to different people. Like I've been pretty upfront on this. Like the thing that really interests me is building a next generation organization. I couldn't do that in the Web2 space just because of the way that ownership was set up. The intent behind what we're doing here is to create a completely different kind of organization, and in doing so, really create an environment where bottom-up organizations can work. It's not just us that we're trying to do this for. It's like by us existing, we're enabling other bottom-up organizations. And I think like this idea of being bottom-up rather than top-down, that is a little bit more what I'm playing with, I guess, like when I'm looking at messaging. This idea of a bottom-up community, like what does that mean? It means that like just by a couple of people working together, you can make a difference, right? And I think like it's really important for us to explore this world because the world right now is really top down. And so it needs a kind of difference. It needs something else. It needs like a truly different kind of organization. And that's why I'm here. And I just want to say that I appreciate you all for being here. I think like us being honest with ourselves, us being honest with each other, it's really important for us if we want to succeed, if we want to get there in the long run. And I think that, again, one of the reasons we're re-looking at the strategy doc is so we can kind of reconvince ourselves and the rest of our team that this is something worth pursuing. Because if we cannot convince ourselves, then we're not going to be able to convince anyone else either. And so I think, like, for us, we really need to make that case to ourselves. And when we have something that makes sense to us, we need to spread that further to other people as well. That's going to give us a message. And maybe we're going to have like multiple kind of different ways to convince people. Some, it might be, this not for profits can use it. Some, it might be this idea of bottom up communities. Some, it might be this idea of like, okay, we're something other different than these top down banks and these kinds of things. And some of it might just be like, I just think that it's really important for us to support communities. So yeah, we're working on that right now. And for now, I really appreciate you all being here. Regardless of the reasons that you're here, you could be anywhere, and you're here working with us. So thanks, everyone.
Thank you. What a great speech.
Inspiring.
Thanks, Lynx. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everybody. See you later.
Appreciate you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.